welcome to La Tavola Diana. Today we're making Zeppoles, which is a St. Joseph traditional pastry that's made. Some of you may want to know different things about St. Joseph. He was the patron saint of Sicily. People prayed to him when they were having a drought so they wouldn't starve. People survived on fava beans, which is why fava beans is a traditional food for St. Joseph's Day. Breadcrumbs is another, which represents the sawdust from St. Joseph because he was a carpenter. And people munched on Zeppoles and wore red clothing. So that's why we do all that. Also, traditionally, people make an altar with food, lemons and limes and wine. No meat because St. Joseph's Day does fall on during Lent. And it represents the Holy Trinity. What I'm doing right now is I'm making the cream for the Zeppole. And we're going to be making the shell, and I'm going to show you how to do it all together. So what we've done first of all is I've got my milk and a little bit of lemon rind in the saucepan. And what we want to do is you want to get that to simmer. So while that's simmering, I am going to beat 4 eggs in a bowl. I'm going to whisk it, and then I'm going to add some sugar until it gets to be a little thick. And that's going to take a couple of minutes. Once that gets done, I'm going to incorporate some flour and some cornstarch, and that'll get a different color. Okay, so I've done the yolks right here. You can see it's gotten a little thicker. So I'm going to add 1/4 cup of flour and 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, and I'm going to whisk this some more until it gets a little bit thicker and smooth. By that time, the milk should be done, and we can incorporate it into this. When you boil your milk or simmer your milk, what you want to do is you want to add zest of lemon. So what you want to do is get just a potato peeler and thinly just slice off a piece of lemon like that. Should be hardly any white on it, and you're just going to drop it into the milk and let it simmer with the milk. Once it's simmered, you're going to remove the lemon zest, and then you are going to incorporate it a little bit at a time into your eggs because you don't want them to curdle. Let's put another one there. Okay, so, oops, there's one more. I'll get him in a minute. So we're just going to add a little bit and stir it, and a little bit more, and we're going to keep going until it's all in here. Okay, once all the milk is in with the egg yolks and the flour and the cornstarch, we're going to put it back onto the stove, and we're going to cook it, stirring constantly until it begins to boil or it becomes thick, just as you would regular pudding. Okay, once the pudding has thickened up, we added a little bit of vanilla, and we're going to put it in a dish, like so, a bowl. We're going to put it in the refrigerator, but we are going to put a piece of saran wrap over the top so we don't get that crusty skin, although I have to tell you, I do love that crusty skin. So you just do like that. Put the saran wrap right on top of the skin and put it in the refrigerator. Okay, next we're going to do a cup of water, a cup of milk, a cup of water, 1/2 cup of butter, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. So we're just going to let this boil, and this is going to be the base of our cream puff. Once this boils, we'll be adding flour and eggs. Okay, as you can see, the mixture has started to boil. So we are going to add the flour, and when you add the flour, it's going to come in together like a ball. I'm just going to stir it, and it's all going to incorporate like a ball. Once it does that, we're going to put it in the mixer, and we're going to mix it to let it cool, and we're going to add 1 egg at a time, which makes it so that we could pipe it. Okay, now I'm going to add 1 egg at a time, and not mixing another one until that one gets incorporated. We want it to cool down a little bit. That's why we're doing this in the mixer. And I'm also putting it into a bowl because I don't want any shells to get in there. And at least if there's a shell that gets in there, I could see it and I can get it out. Okay, our mixture has a smooth consistency, as you can see here. And we're going to put it in a piping bag and make our crust. Okay, I've added the piping mixture to our bag. And we're just going to make 2 rows like that. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. Let me push this back a little bit. These are a little bit bigger probably than what they're supposed to be. But that's the first time I'm making them, so. And you want to make them so that you can cut them in half and fill them. And there's no holes. Okay, so basically, here's my little shells. I'm going to put them in the oven for about 40 minutes. Okay, for time purposes, once they cooled, you would fill them like so. There's no piping that's needed here. And then you would put a little dabble on the top. Right, I should have made a bigger bowl. And add your cherries. They should be brandy cherries, but because there's all kinds of people eating them, I don't. And a little bit of powdered sugar. And we have Zeppoles. Thank you for watching. Happy St. Joseph's Day.